Hey everyone, welcome back to the Databank reading. Make sure though, it's hot everywhere, to drink enough water while you're at it. I'm going to mute if I need to take a sip. It's 30 plus degrees over here. It's midnight. It's still boiling. I just don't know why it's like this, but yeah. Make sure to drink enough water, guys. We're going to read the last two characters for the abundance. We have Gallagher and Lingsha. I don't own Lingsha, but after those two, we will read, I think it was Nihility, yeah, Cipher. So, first of all, Gallagher, Lingsha, and then we'll talk about Cipher a little bit. We will read their character stories though. Gallagher. Character details. A security officer from the Bloodhound gang in Penacony. He's always a slovenly and indolent drinksmith. Though unorganized in apparel and casual in how he makes his drinks, he's always courteous towards visiting guests but keeps his vigilance about him. He seems to carry a weight of a complicated past, yet he never voluntarily divulges any details. You meet this guy in Penacony, he's like standing behind the bar and you need to do the main quests to actually encounter him at the bar. Character story part 1. The scent of tobacco, candy and cheap shampoo. He gives off the typical smell of a middle-aged bachelor. While his clothes are tidy, they are always wrinkled and display a lack of style. He also displays no desire to look after his appearance. He doesn't have many friends and his favorite pastime after work is enjoying a few glasses of Dreamjoy Special, always sitting at the same spot with the same drink and with the same waiters. It's never changed in more than a decade. Yet such a man won the admiration and respect of the Bloodhound family members. This is probably related to the scar etched across his face. In a sweet dream, particularly devoid of any accidents, an ugly scar serves as a rare honor for a security officer, symbolizing seniority and prestige. Whenever confronted with a case, he would first unwrap a piece of candy and put it in his mouth. When the candy is almost gone with his chewing, he dives into the investigation with furrowed brows and ponders the clues until late in the bar. However, unlike the young officers, he seems to no longer find pleasure in apprehending suspects. When he gazes into the eyes of the so-called criminals who fell so far in his sweet dreams, I see no sense of accomplishment in his eyes, only a profound emptiness and melancholy. I actually understand him. When you reach this stage of life, you'll start to doubt the meaning behind the life you've previously led. It was just like what I have experienced. Note: the security officer of the Bloodhound family. So this was written about Gallagher by another person. At least that's what I think. Like, he's talking about how he understands him and such a man kind of deal. Doesn't look like anything the Gallagher I met in the story would actually say about himself. Character story part 2. People need an opportunity to connect with each other, and the diverse special mixes within the dreamscape serve as catalysts for such reactions. As I check out my surroundings, I soon notice an individual who is used to suavely navigating through life. Using the Dreamjoy Special's fame as a starting point, he starts a conversation with the history of syrups and Soul Glad, explaining to the guests the connection between the time spent shaking the drink and the flavor of the final product. Then, he talks about the degrees of fit between the special mix's aroma with an individual's personality and how to master the secret of matching the right ingredients. The surrounding faces drown in darkness. He listens to the whispers of sorrow or joy, all the while coldly observing the hearts of the masses as the drinking party continues. He waits for all the guests to depart, then polishes the silver cups on his own until they gleam while gazing out the door. Day after day, he waits for someone who will never return, waiting for that person to give him an eternal light that will end such a never-ending destiny. He walks alone down the street as lights go out one after another, and he casts a long shadow behind him. Perhaps I, too, will step onto the same predetermined path as he is now. By Dreamjoy Drinksmith. So it seems like Gallagher is waiting on someone, but that person is never going to come back. And maybe he promised them that he would be in that bar when they come back, and that's why he stays there? It's a bit of a sad thing though, to read that. It sounds very lonely. Character Story Part 3. There is only happiness in a sweet dream which forms its greatest misfortune. These disillusioned individuals in the dream are terrified of the family chasing them away. They wander like specters on the fringes of the dreamscape, carefully concealing their emotions and avoiding memories that smell sour or bitter. Their defenses will only crumble during the brief moments after they imbibe the special mix, as if they want to say everything they would ever want to say in the rest of their lives. If people who look down on me lined up, the queue be long enough to go around the reverie 3 times, but those who are willing to treat me with respect. There's one less of them every time one of them dies. Everyone daydreams. When I was your age, I aspired to become an intergalactic outlaw. The result is clear. The daydream shattered. You won't notice it when your tie is askew. In Penacony, no one cares about what others wear. They don't even care if others are human or not. Their words ring hollow, often insincere and perfunctory, never revealing their true thoughts. However, that's the only way the story can feel real. Disillusioned ones in the dreamscape. These are all very sad statements, though. The family are the people in charge in Penacony, and they use the Bloodhound gang to, go around for them. And this is very sad, though. People who look down on me lined up a queue would be long enough to go around the reverie 3 times. Those who are willing to treat me with respect, there's one less of them every time one of them dies. It just means that the little friends that he has are disappearing one by one, which is actually a really sad thing. Character Story Part 4. During working hours, he presents himself as a seasoned and composed security officer. His prime has passed, he is more lenient, and in his ambitions and aspirations have faded with the shattering of his dreams. After work, he will head to the familiar lounge to spend the long nights mixing drinks for himself and longtime friends. As glasses clink, those conversations flow and fizzle like foams, then instantly disappear. He reminisces about the golden years when he yearned for freedom despite his captivity. Together they fought against oppression, entrusting their lives to one another. They dreamed of a free land. They might die any moment, yet act as if they already held countless wonderful tomorrows within their grasp. However, there were not enough of them to fight back. Familiar friends perished one by one, ideals crumbled, and atrocities prevailed. Is that something you lived through? You must be kidding, right? The guest interrupted his gloomy soliloquy. Of course not, how can it possibly be true? He smiles and resumes his work. Gallagher is my most truthful lie. Sometimes I can't even distinguish between him and myself. By Gallagher. So he's putting up a front, telling them stories that were actually true, and then just says it's all made up. I guess in a way he's telling these so his friends live on after they die, and not just like when he dies they would otherwise disappear, right? Isn't that like a thing that they say? Sorry for the noise of my chair, by the way. Isn't that like a thing that they say, that a person is alive as long as somebody remembers them? I don't exactly know where that was said though. If you remember, let me know. The next character is Lingsha. The character introduction is the same as the character details most of the time. The character introduction says the new Cauldron Master of the Jan Zolofus Alchemy Competition is one perceptive and intelligent Vidyadhara healer. With a keen sense of smell, she diagnoses ailments and calms minds with aromatic therapy. Adept at navigating complex social relationships, she can remain impeccably composed even when turmoil rages within. It's the exact same thing as for her character details, by the way. I don't know, I think maybe the scale patterns are supposed to give away that she's a Vidyadhara. Character Story Part 1. As the cauldron became enveloped with clouds of dark smoke, the young girl sits anxiously on the pillow, her bright eyes fixed on its rattling lid. Following an explosion resounds through the room. The young girl runs excitedly into her master's consultation room, clasping a crystal clear palette, despite her entire person looking scorched like a skull left too close to a candle. Master Yunhao, look! I did it! In a crowded consultation room, Cauldron Master Yunhao is currently treating patients. Seeing her master focused and concentrated, the young girl obediently hides behind her master and lowers her head to sniff at the scent of the medicinal palette. This pulse, it's a tough one. The young girl overhears her master's suspicion and approaches the patient's side to take a sniff. Little Danzu, your sense of smell is second to none. Can you tell me anything about this patient's condition? Yunhua calls the young girl forward and looks at her encouragingly. There's a faint smell of overripe fruits, like a sign of spleen deficiency with excessive thirst? Quite right. That would match with the early symptoms, so what medication would you recommend? The young girl raises the palette in her hands and loudly proclaims, half of a revitalization palette. Take with water. After a long day of diagnosing and treating patients, the young girl runs after Yunhua and asks perplexedly, Master, why do you still insist on personally seeing patients? I see that the other high-level alchemy commission healers spend all their time either treating themselves or rubbing shoulders with wealthy merchants. Yunhua finishes organizing her medical records, kneels down, and rubs the young girl's head. Little Danzu, have you heard something? I heard people saying bad things about you. The young girl droops her head, looking as if she's crying. Little Danzu, what do you think is the duty of a healer? Yunhua lets out a faint smile and picks Danzu up in her arms. To study medicine with devotion, and to treat the sick and save the wounded. If that's the case, don't you think that healers like me should spend every day working hard and being loyal to our duties? Yes, Master. Even after seeing her master's warm smile, there is still a sliver of doubt that lingers within her heart. So it seems like she grew up with a master that was teaching her medicine and alchemy and stuff like that. And even though the master was actually helping the people were still talking bad about them. That's the sad thing too. If somebody is jealous, they will talk bad about you. They will talk behind your back, try to make you look as something that you're not. But not everybody's going to try and make their own opinion. Some of them might just listen to their friends, and that's not always a good thing. I find it very important that people make their own opinions by actually seeing or experiencing things that they otherwise wouldn't. Character Story Part 2. The years that she spent studying under Yunhua were the most fulfilling and joyous of her life. She would flitter through vials of strange herbs like a snake with a keen nose and research strange creatures from other planets. The origin of Mara, the true essence of the abominations of abundance. Medicinal pellets that eased the onset of Mara. Each new research topic led her further into this fascination and caused her a lifelong obsession. Every day brought new progress and new joy. However, in the time that she had become immersed in fragrance and fantasy, the Alchemy Commission had silently grown unstable and treacherous. After dozens of days and nights of internal surveillance, the waves of war finally spread to immerse Cauldron Master Yunhua. With a single order, she was stripped of her role as Cauldron Master and made a commoner. Actually, she had smelled the strange scent coming. The whispers of the preceptors. The aroma of unknown medicinal pellets around the Alchemy Commission. The nights her master had spent going to and from the shackling prison after receiving a mysterious message. But by the time she noticed how these things were all related, it was too late. She sought help from her superiors in the Alchemy Commission, but her usually kind-hearted seniors had grown envious of the previous countermaster, and she received only cold responses and warnings. She made an official appeal, over and over, but received the same response every time. However, she just could not bring herself to believe that the Cauldron Master, who had devoted herself wholeheartedly to the well-being of her patients, would do anything unreasonable. Just as she could not repress the urge to argue her master's case once more, Yunhua appeared from nowhere and gently patted her on the shoulder. Danzu, there is no need for you to plead my innocence anymore. I am exhausted. I don't mind leaving this place. She chased after her master, but before she could say another word, she caught a whiff of a strange scent. The scent of a conspiratorial plot. So it seems it's like I said, people were getting, like, maybe she was too good at her job and was going to find clues or something from the other people that were actually, like, trying to poison people, maybe? And that's why they wanted her out of the way? Or maybe they just were envious of her? Like I said, if people are envious of you or jealous of you from something, they will talk behind your back and do everything to make you look bad. Character story part 3. She quickly came to realize that perhaps leaving would be her best option. With the help of the preceptors, they left the Lofu together and headed for the Zumain. The past flashed before her eyes as they were immersed in a world of medicine and research. They were blithely unaware that a huge net woven by the hearts of men had already ensnared them. If you never learn how to face this world, your ideals will face only inevitable destruction. She vowed to herself never to let something like this happen again. Thanks to Yunhua's introduction, she was able to meet with the Zooming High Elder Ardens Regia and enter the Piercing Gaze sect to study special medicinal treatments such as acupuncture, aromatherapy, and pyropathy. She fixed her previous pattern of turning a blind eye to the world around her and came to work alongside people of all walks of life harmoniously. As time passed, she realized that every type of person, every type of illness, had their own unique scent. She had smelled the putrid stench of envy. While she studied at the Zuming, she did not allow the mysterious disappearance of medicinal herbs and the subsequent misunderstandings and cold shoulders to crush her. She dispelled all doubts and mocking with incense that no seasoned alchemist could ever hope to match. She had smelled the fetid stench of conspiracy, hypocrisy. When working with biotechnology experts from other planets, she traced the thin veil of clues that revealed their schemes and thwarted their secret intentions to collide with the disciples of Sanctus Medicus. She had smelled the foul stench of covetous greed. When she served as a Zooming military healer, she came to understand the huge benefits of medicines hidden in the barracks and investigated in secret to expose corrupt members in one fell swoop. The afflictions of humanity had nowhere to hide under her diagnosis. She was always able to formulate the perfect incense to dispel their scent. If I am unable to stand head and shoulders above my peers like my master, then I shall delegate myself to learning the hearts of men and fight them fair and square. She changed her name to Lingsha. Her medicinal namesake's fluctuation of yin and yang. Its properties of both water and fire made it a miracle cure to those in mortal danger, just as she herself wished to become. So, she was experimenting and things were disappearing and people were trying to give her the cold shoulder and putting all the blame on her. And she was slowly, like, noticing that something wasn't right. And I'm not sure if this is on the Zooming or on the Lofu. But at least in the end, with her determination of not turning a blind eye anymore, she was able to unveil that the disciples of Sanctus Medicus were trying to do something really bad. Her thing about huge benefits of medicine in the barracks and everything could maybe mean that there were incense that were being used in the barracks to make the people sick by the disciples of Sanctus Medicus or something, to try and make people unable to, like, defend themselves when they finally swooped in for the prize, if you get what I mean. But yeah, it's good that she uncovered the truth. It's only sad that it took so long though. Then again, people that are young usually don't really care about the world around them and they don't really see the stuff that is going wrong. It's a lot about, oh, I want to do this and I need this and I would like that. But it's never about if I did that, would the other person actually, like, be hurt because of it in any way. But yeah. Character story part 4. With her use of burning incense, she masterfully united the ways of Lofu alchemy and the teachings of the Zuming's piercing gaze, to slowly become a healer known by every soul in the Alliance. When she received instruction to serve as Cauldron Master of the Lofu Alchemy Commission, she became a little preoccupied. However, upon arriving at the Lofu, she was disappointed to realize that not only had the Alchemy Commission not improved since she left, the internal conflict had, in fact, worsened. The first issue is that people's interests are impure and nepotism is rife. Second, there is a lack of professional dedication and constant blame passing and squabbles. Third, an unjust rewards and punishment system has put people ill at ease. Fourth, Research is dismissed as worthless and patient visits neglected. 5th, those with power take all. Those dedicated to improvement become discouraged, and malpractice has been rampant for a considerable time. As she greeted others with a smile, she spent any time socializing, secretly carving out an image in her heart of the problems she faced with each person. It sounds like it's not done yet, this part, by the way. But it sounds like there might need to be some cutting done, if you get what I mean. It's like with plants, you cut off the diseased parts. Let's continue reading this though. However, the problems with the Alchemy Commission were not created overnight, nor would they be solved as quickly. Be it the fake platitudes of the Preceptors, the constant smoke and mirrors of the Alchemy Commission healers, or conflicts with other departments, her worries were endless. She would have to use huge quantities of incense in order to keep her mind steady. Don't get mad, don't be hasty. If I get sick, then who'll replace me? She would smile through gritted teeth as she read through reports that made her despair and massaged her temples for comfort. The waves still sounded outside her window. As she watched the rising and falling of the ocean, she thought about how Yunhua must have spent her days like this back then. Master, continuing to practice and learn in the face of the burdens of human affairs is no simple matter. That young girl whose face was blackened by the exploding elixir crucible is now a grown woman, drowning in work and petty squabbles. Let's hope that she can actually... I don't know how it continues, I just... the Lofu part has been a while back. So I don't exactly 100% remember how you meet her or where you meet her. But I do hope that eventually she maybe finds a way to like heal this. Because these people are supposed to help people. If they are diseased from the inside out, aren't helping anyone anymore, and are just out for their own gain, and those people should not be in power. But yeah, that's my opinion on it. Our next character is Cipher. Cipher is a character that you meet the first time you met her in the questline, the main questline, but the first time I met her was in the minigame where you play like with the seals and you bounce the seals against each other and it deals damage. That kind of stuff. That's where I met her. Her design makes sense. The ears do look like they are part of the outfit though. I don't know if that's on purpose or if it's like a perfect... Oh, I can see it here. It's a perfect cutout fitting around her ear. So she's a feline. I wonder if they're gonna add more of these to the characters. Character introduction. In the fallen city of bandits Dolos, the 300 rogues run wild and free. Race forward, fleet-footed thief, star Cipher, crisis heir of the trickery core flame. May your web of lies spread with the breeze through all lands. Trying to trick me? Not a chance. So it seems like this is based on Sparta? The 300? Kinda gives it away, but I'm not 100% sure. Character story part 1. At the end of the month of weaving, bread, a bag of dried fruit, and numerous candles were stolen from the temple. Though the value of the items may be trivial, sacrilege in the Zuiderbov merits severe punishment. The suspect is grey-haired, cat-eared, slight build, considered agile and cunning. Exercise caution. A bounty is set, 5,000 for leads, 10,000 if captured alive. A wanted poster in Dolos. So it seems like she stole something from a temple. That's a no-no. Catch her! Catch her! The square was lined with cells, reeking of raw sewage and echoing with whips and wails. A girl in tattered rags sprinted through the crowded streets, trailing golden blood in her wake. She raced past the platform where a pot-bellied priest was delivering a sermon to the city's gathered faithful. By Catholi's grace, let us praise and give thanks for this beautiful world. Integrity, honesty, mercy. Let us water our souls with virtue and use love to temper tragedy. Just as the girl glanced back, the snarling hounds pursuing her lunged, carving 3 fresh gashes on her face. Treasure and wealth mean naught to titans, yet they prove your devotion. Amid cheers, silks, delicacies, and jewels rained onto the platform, forming a small mountain. Shun the Kreiser's raving lies. Have faith in Gaffale. So much as we pray earnestly, the god shall deliver salvation. She pushed her way through the crowd, losing the bread in her hand somewhere along the way. Desperately, she looked around, only to find condescending faces staring down at her, surging toward her like a restless tide. Her knees went weak, as mocking glances and threatening smiles blurred before her eyes, but the distant voices had already burrowed into her ears and she couldn't stop. Thief, criminal, wretch. Closing her eyes, she plunged from that 300-meter-high wall. So hungry. Icy water swallowed her consciousness, and so she claimed her first big victory in a race with her life on the line. So she was trying to steal food because she was so hungry, and nobody was even giving it to her, probably because she was a Kreiser's and they don't seem to be welcomed in that area. So I'm guessing that she grew up poor and as maybe even abandoned by her parents. If that's really the thing, they might not want to have a daughter that's a Kreiser's heir, if you get what I mean. Character Story Part 2. Exiled to the holy city of Dawn, she witnessed how the legends of the Kreiser's heir surged through the streets. Yet when she saw its squalid alleys and filthy cramped corners, she found the place no different from Dolos. Humph. What flame chase, what heroes. If my experience isn't wrong, I smell shady schemes afoot. Deeming the Kreiser's heir's glory-hungry frauds, she targeted a certain golden weaving workshop. Honeybrew, a chessboard, and a weird lyre? These have got to be stolen. She guzzled the honeybrew, devoured the Dom Madakia, and toyed with the crystal chess pieces. Even the floor spinning. When she awoke from the drunken stupor, she found a perfumed letter in her hand. Hair standing on end, she threw off the blanket and fled to her shadowy den. Little glutton, did you enjoy your fun? You treated the weaving hall like your personal playground. You tasted the honeybrew but couldn't handle it. The chessboard's a complete mess and you didn't even spare the old liar. But remember this. Always drink honeybrew to the last drop and no situation in this world is beyond salvation. I know you possess great skill, so fix the liar you damaged. You're lucky a certain knight commander wasn't there, or she surely would have pinned your tail to the floor with her sword. Clutching a confidential letter, the girl felt a vague, indescribable emotion rising within her for the first time. Big city folks. They sure got a lot of tricks, huh? The stray cat waited day after day for a harsh reckoning, yet she wasn't held to account. So she would whistle, tossing a coin in the air and time and again accidentally stop in front of the weaving workshop. Cipher, if there's anything you want to eat, just tell us. The red-haired girls would always have a heap of food at the ready. While following the weaver at work, she often heard stories of those heroes. For those with golden blood, losses are constant on the flame chase journey, and even life itself holds little value. The weaver spoke of the violin's final wail, the chess pieces that fell in a doomed game, the shattered pathway splitting into 1,000 fragments. And what's that have to do with me? I just want a full belly, she muttered, curling her fingers. A tiny bead of golden blood welled up from her pricked fingertip. That night, she silently slipped out of the weaving shop once again. It's okay, run, Cipher. Only you know where your path ends. Under the moonlight, her figure vanished from sight, leaving nothing in the room but the weaver's murmured words. If I'm not wrong, this is actually the Tribby Girls. And Aglaia. Yeah, Aglaia. I think the Tribby Girls are in Harmony. Yeah, Harmony. These girls. These are the redhead girls. There are multiple of them. 1,000 forms. See? You see like a couple of them at the same time. I do like the moon symbol. Cats are usually like seen as something to do with the moons and stuff. I also like the cat size. They look a little bit eerie though on the shoulders. And there's a cat eye here. Another moon symbol on her head. And there's like a Egyptian looking necklace on her neck. Kijk disturbed by 3. Zacharias, god of trickery of old, stealing treasures, sowing discord among the gods, stirring up conflict. Your stale ploys weary us. This next Spirit Day, the 300 rogues will stage their most spectacular performance in Amphorius yet. The world will be ours, craven god. We'll just turn it upside down. A proclamation adorned with a cat's paw prints scattered across the city-states of Amphorius. North from Okeba, across the snow-covered mountains, lies Aenionus. There, I secretly changed 2 characters in the Granite Code, winning a rogue's indenture in a trial of life and death. In Base of the South, I snuck around a moored ship and dueled a rogue in the middle of a storm, and I hate water most of all. Then guess what? In a stroke of genius, I whipped out my pulero and took his sword away. And there's more. Even the blazing desert sun I completed with outlaws to see who could last the longest without water, and in the dense jungle, I raced against hunters, until all 300 rogues were in place. The girl in golden boots spoke animatedly, about her journey. Next, it's time for every usurper, parasite and slaver in all of Amphorius to witness the power of the so-called wretches they despise. She recalled how the moment the coin of whimsy fell, 300 thief stars streaked across the sky, descending upon the lands of Amphorius. Lofty tyrants stumbled from their thrones, whip-wielding slavers fled in disgrace. Torrents of gold vanished into thin air, only the rain down from the heavens upon the starving and the shivering. During that grand spectacle, Zacharias could resist the temptation and reveal themselves, falling right into the Chrysos Air's ambush. The blazing core flame at last fell silent within the vortex's core. In the city of Okima, whispers began to spread of a demigod swift as a shadow, a guardian of vagrants, a scourge to the wicked. All I can do is run. So, it's a bit like a Robin Hood tale so far, where she steals from the suppressing people, the bad people, and then gives it to people that need it the most. Character story part 4. To all priests, high priests, and acolytes of the city-states, to the faithful beneath the radiance of the throne of the worlds, and to all sentient beings. Since the passing of our high priest, the gem of our worlds has gone missing. Upon investigation, no signs of forced entry or damage were found at the scene. After its theft, multiple reports claimed to have seen the gem enter the black market, where it was exchanged for a vast sum of balance coins. Anyone providing useful information will receive a reward of 5,000 balance coins. The one who captures the culprit will receive a reward of 100,000. A faded yellow proclamation from the Council of Elders. So it seems like her stealing something and then selling it on the black market got a target on her back. Wow, all this time and the stink's still up? She remembered the day the bounty was posted, the moment she had no choice but to say goodbye. She couldn't meet the weaver's eyes and could only turn away, hastily turning tail and fleeing Okima. Centuries later, new heroes flocked here from across Amphorus. Her hood drawn low, she gazed at the old marketplace from afar, but few familiar faces remained. A new flavor of pickled candies? Crumpling the wager, she casually flicked it toward the flower bed. Glass marbles, haven't played with these in ages. She weighed one in her hand, aiming as she mimed tossing it into the water. Moments later, figures dressed as assassins stumbled down one after the other from the flower bed, the water, the trees, and yet further ahead the young hero stood bathed in light, returning in triumph. She watched from the shadows until the golden thread beside her trembled. Seamstress, all these years and your golden threads are sharp as ever. If I don't want to get caught, I'd better get going. She stretched lazily, crouching slightly as the wind swept past, heavy with the scent of the wilds. Once more, a golden streak of lightning tore from Okima toward the eternal night. In the howling wind, she felt as if she had returned to her childhood, to those countless races where her life itself was on the line. Run, Cipher. Only you know where your path ends, and one day you'll be able to sprint into that splendid future. In an instant, the lightning split the night, It was as if she had already illuminated the entire world. So this is about Aglaya. Because the golden threads are a thing that Aglaya does to see. She's lost her eyesight and needs to use the golden threads to see and feel things. So she flicks the wrapper into the flower beds, the glass marbles go into the water. And in those two places there were assassins. So it's like Aglaya kind of knew that Cipher was there and was gonna be in trouble? Maybe that's what this means? I don't really like Cipher in the story about the seals though. Seal slamming or whatever it's called. I don't like how she just steals the prize and doesn't really care and this and that. And with Aglaya knowing her, I don't think there's actually a reason to keep stealing, but maybe she doesn't know anything else? But shouldn't she be taught something else then? I don't know. I do like her design, even though the eyes on the shoulders are a bit creepy. All in all, she does look kinda cool. I wish they would add more cat characters. But yeah, that was today's episode. I'm sad to announce that we finished the databank. All of the things that I've seen, so far at least, I'm gonna need to continue the quests to get the enemy creatures filled up, and then I'll read about those as well. But I don't know when that will be. As you can see, I don't have the rolled, but I wanted to show this. This is one of those puppets that Aglaya uses, and there's a lot of golden details and stuff in it. And she uses the golden threads to like use them to fight, I guess you could say. The garment maker. My favorite Mama Sprite still though is this one. It is cute, but yeah. I'm gonna need to continue the story, but I think the episodes for this game will become few and far between. I have finished. Okay.
It's squishy.
Okay. I have finished V-Rising though. I'm thinking of doing the V-Rising bosses and the story behind the bosses and where you can find them and stuff. With actual gameplay.
It's squishy.
But since I don't know, it's gonna be a practice in editing for me, so I don't know very much about editing. I am gonna use a program that I mentioned in one of the... Please stop squishing it.
It's squishy.
We know. But yeah, we are going to maybe read those. I'm gonna need to practice some more of my editing software though for that. You can kind of see the golden threads there. So I am gonna continue the main story. I'm going to make an episode on the characters, like the enemies and stuff.
Reshape fate and weave a new beginning.
But that will be probably not in 1, but maybe in 2 weeks' time. On top of that, I am every day streaming though. They're being very active for some reason. I am streaming every day on Twitch though, so if you guys want to see me actually play Mass Effect 2 right now, and probably nearing the end of that, after that I'll be playing Mass Effect 3. If you're interested, come and check it out. Maybe there's games that you could suggest otherwise in the comments to play. Maybe games that you're interested in the story of. I don't know if you guys would be interested though in the documents. I don't know if I have all of them though. 35 out of the 51. So I'm going to look, I'm going to start reading otherwise these for the time being. They're very short, so I might need to try and find the last ones still myself. But after that, I don't really know what else to read. I haven't really done this enough yet, the Divergent Universe. I've been taking a bit of a break from this, but there are these Titan stories that I can read for you guys. And maybe the operational records again. But as you can see, I haven't completed a lot of these yet, so I'll look into that later. We'll first look into reading the texts maybe, but if you do have any other games that you want me to read, please leave them in the comments. I'm going to try my best to find another game to do after this one. I'm going to keep track of it though, so every new story and everything, every new character that comes out, new enemies, all that kind of stuff, I'm going to try and read that for you guys. So yeah. Thank you guys for being here. I hope you guys have a nice rest of your day, evening or night, whatever time of day it is for you guys. If you guys want to help me out financially, there is a Patreon in the comments. You don't have to subscribe, like on the high tiers, any little bit actually helps. Thank you 5A for subscribing. And yeah, have a nice rest of your day. Bye!